A professional boxing event due to take place at Rushcliffe Leisure Centre on May the 7th has been cancelled after police received reports of a possible threat of violence.
Spectacularly, this is the news that the nation has once again been thrilled by the opportunity to participate in local elections like a heroic gladiatorial bloodbath, but with the added aroma of freshly sharpened tiny pencils. Across the country, people have been voting for their local councillors in order to decide who they want to have the privilege of closing down their libraries in 6 months' time. In Scotland, 16 and 17-year-olds have been voting for the first time. Previously, they've had to persuade an older teenager to go into the polling station and vote for them. There have been concerns that there will be a low turnout for the Police and Crime Commissioners elections, simply on the ground that there's been no advertising for them. Nobody knows who's standing, what they stand for, or what a Police and Crime Commissioner actually is. I assume it's the person who sends out the bat signal. So this is the news that the new Mayor of London is Claudio Ranieri. Verbally, this is the decision of Ted Cruz and John Kasich to suspend their campaigning against Donald Trump for what they describe as the Republican presidential nomination, but to all outside observers looks more like a hotly contested race to be judged the most appalling man in the world. I know a lot of Radio 4 listeners won't have been keeping up with the American politics, so I'll just quickly bring you up to speed. We have lost the colonies. Anyway, Americans now have to choose who they'd rather have in charge, a former Secretary of State who can never seem to remember which email account she's logged into, or a man who believes everything he reads on the internet. Whatever happens, I think it's safe to say that it was a pleasure knowing you all. Let's take a moment to grab some tins and we'll reconvene in the bunker.
And then the team that wins gets a big cup. It's electrifying stuff.
I wish they actually just got a big cup like those ones you get from Sports Direct when you walk. What I love about this is I think I like it. I mean, I love this story. And I'm not a Leicester fan at all, but their main player is this guy called Vardy, who looks like he's only ever eaten crisps.
Unrelatedly, this is the story of unfancied Leicester City shocking the world of football by winning the Premier League. Football fans the world over were delighted by the plucky underdog story of 11 millionaires fighting their way past a lot of slightly richer millionaires. Leicester players have achieved the one thing they have been striving for their entire lives, and one must assume that now, like bumblebees, they will simply die. No, it's a lovely story, and I only wish Leicester's most famous resident, Richard III, could have lived to see it. Grotesquely aged, baffled by the world around him, and sitting in an executive box screaming, "Why won't you let me die?" in Middle English. It's not just sporting achievement in Leicester, of course. The University of Leicester was instrumental in the invention of genetic fingerprinting.
A pilot caught on camera attacking a policewoman has been charged with assault and creating disturbance. The prosecution objected to the pilot's release on bail, saying he's a flight risk.
Are you a man aged over 40? Windsor Lions Club is offering free prostate cancer checks with the help of a local estate agent.
Shut your stupid funnel up!
Flippity flap, flappity flap. May we come in so we'll be dry?
If they've got the capability of knocking down a wall, that's pretty dumb to knock down the wall that just takes you to the next cell, isn't it?
I'd like to give a big shout-out, by the way, to any prisoners listening. I know that the news quiz is very popular on the wing. In fact, most of the cuttings we read out are simply coded messages to the outside world from Hardened Lags. Do keep sending them in, chaps. I only hope your contacts on the outside can make more sense of them than we can.
He's read one out from the Romford Observer. That's the signal to go. Come on, boys. In 1972, you rang someone and you always got to the end of the conversation. Always. Imagine back then saying, "Oh, you know what? You won't believe. In 45 years' time, technology will have advanced so much that every phone call will be going, 'Hang on, I've lost you. You're breaking up. I've lost you.'" Everything's like that. Heating, right? I mean, heating in my house. The people come round and they set it up with a special digital thing and they go, oh, the marvellous thing with this is that you could be in Ecuador and you can, through an app on your iPhone, you'll be able to set it for 1 year and 4 months' time to come out at 8:30 in the morning and get all your hot water. But I've sat there in the house freezing, unable to turn it on now. I can't get it on. I can't... ringing them up. How do I turn it? Well, you'll need to go to Ecuador and... for 1 year and 4 months' time. All of it. And the washing machines, you might as well just do it in the sink. You've got millions of lights cascading. What are they? And then people go, oh, well, that one's if you want to wash the Turin Shroud.
This is the sort of disillusionment that turns people against the West, Mark.
Can I just say, Mark, commiserations that you lost your column in The Independent, but congratulations that you've got that new one in Saga magazine. You certainly have a lot to say, so it's very exciting times.
Yes. And the thing is, I could do that column every week, and they'd have forgotten that they read it.
One truck at a time.
Anaphylactically, a US federal magistrate has ordered Apple to help the FBI unlock the iPhone of suspected terrorist Syed Rizwan Farouk. This has put the FBI into conflict with two of the biggest religions on the planet, Islam and Apple. Both have millions of followers, and both were founded by a man with a beard who people get very upset if you criticise. The FBI are looking for evidence that the shooters were influenced by Islamic fundamentalism. For instance, a downloaded terrorist handbook or a nude selfie with a poster of Osama bin Laden in the background. Actually, initially, they got the wrong Apple and spent 18 months on the phone to Yoko Ono, who advised them to listen to the voice of a flower while counting the number of stars in the sky or something. Donald Trump said that Apple should give the FBI the information, adding that he thought this because he was a common-sense conservative. Disappointing that he used 2 C words and managed to hit the nail on the head with neither.
Van Gogh was bleeding copiously after slashing his ear with a razor, so he wrapped the piece of ear in paper and walked to his favourite brothel, where he gave it to a young woman he knew.
The UK government has pushed back the date of its proposed porn firewall after struggling to get it up since January.
In the article Brotherhood of Hackers in last week's News Review, we reported that Cal Leeming had an addiction to heroin. He has asked us to clarify that he in fact had an addiction to crack cocaine.
Enough!
And with that, goodbye.
No!